One of the many fears of life that tends to give us the greatest amount of anxiety is a fear of lack of control over our lives. But the thing is, we human beings are kind of delusional creatures. We tend to think that we have way more control over our lives than what we actually have. It's sort of like the sports fan who refuses to wash his socks during the playoffs because he thinks this is somehow going to give a positive outcome to his favorite team who's playing a game a couple hundred miles away. It's insane. It's delusional, but that's us. We're kind of delusional creatures. We think we have way more control over our lives than what in reality we actually have. Well, in American society, we tend to believe that we're just simply the product of the choices that we make. And believing that puts a lot of stress and a lot of pressure on us. It makes us very anxious creatures. But I want you to think this through. Think about how many factors in life you really get to choose for yourself that form you. Do you get to choose your own genetics? Do you get to pick your parents? Do you get to choose the socioeconomic conditions into which you're born? Take a step back and think about it. How much of life do you really get to control? In reality, we maybe control about 1.3% of our lives, but we stress as though we're in control of like 99% of our lives. What that leads us to do is it leads us to approach God in a very unhealthy way. We approach God like we're just asking him to give us a little boost along the way, like God was some kind of like divine Gatorade for a boost on a long run. It's very unhealthy, but if you struggle with the stressing about lack of control in life, the antidote to your worry is something called the sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God is what Paul talks about in Romans 8:28 when he says, "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him." This means that despite the fact that we make bunches of foolish, selfish choices in life, twisting our lives into knots, because God is so big, so powerful, and sovereign, he can untie the knots that we make with our lives, and he can retwist those lives to turn into beautiful bows. You come to realize that you don't have to be in control if you understand that you have a God who is, who graciously always works out all things for your good. Have you thought before about how God has pulled everything together in your life to bring you to this point of faith? Share this video and comment about that below, and join us tomorrow as we look at how the gospel addresses our anxiety over our past mistakes.
If these messages are a blessing to you and your faith and you want more, we'd love to make it easy for you. You can just click this button right here to get connection to a YouTube subscription, or if you want these devotions right into your inbox, you can click right here. YouTube here, email here. Email here, YouTube there. Click both these buttons. We'll give you as much Jesus as we can because we know that Jesus is all that we need.